Hello, everyone. Welcome to the
Hello.
stream. Happy Friday.
Happy.
Um, I don't know about you guys, but me and Mick have some words to get in, and we're hoping that you guys have some words to get in, and we're going to have a good time. But speaking of, Mick, would you like to introduce yourself to the people?
Yes. Hello. I'm Michaela. You can call me Mick because we're all friends here. And the gracious Cody allowed me to be on this sprint. And like he said, we have words to get in. I need to be writing. So I am excited to spend this lovely Friday night with you all.
Yes, yes. And if you're coming over here from Michaela's channel and you don't know who I am, my name is Cody the Writer. I'm currently working on rewrites for my debut mystery thriller novel. And yeah, it's going okay. It's going okay. That's all I can say.
Okay is all we can ask for.
Yeah, progress is happening, and that's, we're thankful. All
Yes.
righty, let's see. Planning your book. Ooh, what kind of book is it? Also, welcome to the stream, everyone that's currently commenting. Hello, Ari. Welcome. Happy to have you here. Whoa, that wasn't supposed to happen. Hello. Hi, Becca. Welcome. I know, now you get to be on the other side of the stream for this one.
Me and Becca switched.
Yeah, you're her doppelganger. Oh, someone said they love your videos, Mick. Just watched your Raven Boys breakdown.
Aw, thanks. I had fun doing it. I'm obsessed with the Raven cycle, so love that series.
Yes, it was very informative. All your videos are so informative. And
Thanks.
I think I said it in a comment, but anytime Mick posts it in one of those kind of videos where she's going to be teaching you something, I grab me a notebook and I'm like, all right, learn me something, Mick. Hi, Brielle. Welcome. Working on revising chapter 1. Oh, that's so exciting. I've been watching your vlogs and I've been watching your process of annotating, unraveling, which is very exciting. So excited that you're revising chapter 1. YA literary fiction coming of age set in Tokyo, Japan, 2003. Wow, that is very specific, but also I would read that. So that's great. But the way these usually go, if you have not been on one of my streams before, we are going to be doing 3 sprints, total 30 minutes apiece. In between those sprints, you can tell us about something that you're working on. You can ask me or Michaela some questions about our book or our writing process. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we are here to entertain. Okay? And it's going to be a grot Tim. I was just watching Mick's new video and hearing that you use to train others. It makes so much sense. LOL, your craft videos feel like a masterclass. Couldn't agree more.
I know. It's hard to turn off the training mode. Like I get like a voice. Once I'm on camera, the voice clicks in, my training comes in. It's my acting past and my training job. Yeah, for sure.
I love that. Did you tell me about your acting past when we had our Zoom the other day?
Yeah, I know. And you act too. I grew up acting, not great at it, but I love, anything surrounding the theater. Still very fun. Yeah.
Yes. Just 2 theater girls trying to make it in this writing world. You know what I'm saying?
World,
But if you guys, we can leave the first like 10 or so, I will say 5 minutes open for questions. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments down below. Me and Michaela would be happy to yap about whatever things you want to talk about. Hello, Miss Blogger. Welcome to the stream.
Hello. Yeah, I love yapping. So, I can talk about anything. And Brielle, I know you were saying you're working on revising chapter 1. That is so exciting. I already can't wait to be in the revising stage. Take me out of drafting. I'm done. I want it to be done, and I want to be revising already.
As someone who is currently in the revising stage, I don't know.
We can swap. I love revising.
And I love drafting. So yeah, let's just do a little Freaky Friday moment.
Yes.
And I'll draft for you while you edit for me.
Perfect. I love that.
Yes. See, Ari, no, I miss drafting. See, me and Ari.
I know. It's an unpopular opinion. I I mean, I like drafting, but I would much rather just edit. I feel like I'm a better editor than like getting the words out sometimes. I mean, they come out horribly. Like they're just horrible the first.
Yeah. I feel like both kind of have their things that I like about them,
Mhm.
because I feel like with drafting, the stressful part of drafting for me is, I mean, if you're a outliner, then you don't have to worry about this, but still discovery writing, but is I could get stuck somewhere and I don't know where to go from there. Even
Mhm.
if I have it outlined, I figuring out that smooth transition from this scene to this scene can be a bit challenging, and you feel like you're just like staring into the void of nothingness, hoping that something comes to your brain.
Mhm.
With editing, the story's there, the bones and the structure is there. Now you just got to make it pretty. So
Right.
it's less, I wouldn't say less on the creative side, but there's not as much brainstorming and things involved in editing. Sure, you have to brainstorm
Yeah.
solutions to the problems that you find, but
Mhm. Mhm.
give a short blurb on your stories. I know the basics because I watch both your vids, but a refresher would be nice. Mick, would you like to start?
Yeah, I hate giving short blurbs.
That's why I asked you to start.
I just like dread whenever someone's like, "What are you writing?" Like all my friends are like, "Oh my God, tell me about your story." I'm like, "I don't know. I have no idea." Um, but as succinct as I can get it, is a contemporary adult fantasy. I guess you can consider it urban fantasy, but there is no paranormally aspect. It's only like magic. So my main character, Helen, her best friend Zoya, is missing, and she finds out that she joined a cult that she's trying to save her from, but she ends up getting pulled into it herself. And there's magic and mafia, word vomit. I have no idea. That's the
Yeah.
best I can do.
Hey, that's great. And I think we did talk about our kind of fascination with cults and how we're both nosy
I'm
enough to
obsessed with
join
cults.
one.
It's a problem. Yeah, I would
And
start one in a heartbeat, unfortunately.
yeah, and me and Michaela have both watched the Escaping Twin Flame, which kind of was what your story reminded me of, because it follows the girl whose sister was in the cult. Obviously,
Mhm.
yours has magic and fun things in it, as where the real world does not. But that's kind of what that made
Yes.
me think of. I love the refining of editing, but I love the creativity of drafting. Exactly that.
Oh,
The
you were
revising
trying to get
stage.
out the blurb. You didn't say your blurb.
Oh,
Don't
wow,
don't
you
get out
got
of the
me.
blurb.
Okay,
Yeah, nice
fine.
try.
Okay.
Nice try.
So mine is I still can't decide if it is new adult or adult, because it deals with a lot of adult content and things like that. But for now, I'm saying new adult because all of the characters are like college age. And
Mhm.
so it is a sort of dark academia mystery thriller set in a city that I made up called Westview. And we follow the main character, Logan, who is going to this school following a traumatic car accident that ends up, he has to go through some recovery and things like that. But the whole reason that he wants to go is because his father went to Westview, and he went on to be one of the most famous alumni of that school. And so he is going to this school to try to basically finish what his father started and write the last installment of his series, The Chronicles of a Killer. And so the end of chapter 1, Logan says, "Step 1, I need to find a killer." And he ends up joining this secret society on campus that is a group of writers, and comes to find out that an anonymous source tips him off that one of them might be a killer. And we have to try to figure out who might have killed somebody, or if any of them did. And it's just a whole little twisty, fun plot line that talks about power and wealth and politics and all those fun things. So that is my book that I'm currently writing. Thank you. That was just a word vomit version because I have not
It was
written this
better
in a
than mine.
succinct
It was
paragraph.
way better than mine. So that was good. That was good.
Well, also I'm further along in my process than you are,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
if I was in
Very
the drafting phase, I'd be like, honestly, I couldn't tell you what my book's about. I'll
true.
find out when I finish it.
Yeah.
For me, drafting was nice because I could let myself off the hook. Like, okay, I can fix this later, but now is later, and I actually have to fix it. That is so real.
That's fair.
When I finish plan writing and draft to get the print and sent to alpha readers, there is something just exciting about it. Feels like Christmas. And we love Christmas here on this channel.
We do.
Any tips for writing character development about other tackle that part of brainstorming and I'm a little stuck? So I can start this one if that's okay. And so something that helped me tremendously with my character development that I did not do during the first draft was I sat and for each of my main cast of characters, so there's like 6 main characters. There's a 7th one, but she's dead and she's the one who's the mystery revolves around. So 7 main characters, and for each of them I had to figure out what their internal want is and what their external want is. And so the like, for example, Logan, his internal want is to escape his mother. She's, just overbearing, and after the accident she was even more so, and he kind of felt like he was trapped with there, and so his whole thing is to prove that he can do that. And I guess the secondary one, or the main secondary one, is he wants to finish writing this book for his father. And so both of those things, once I figured out what Logan's wants and things were, that really helped me to decide how he reacts to the world and how he reacts to other people. And so I would say once you have nailed down their firm wants and their goals of the story, then it helps to speak to how they talk, how they act, how they interact with others. And that's what helped me personally. Michaela, what say you?
Yeah, I think I've talked a little bit about this on my channel, but definitely when I first start writing, my characters feel like Flat Stanley. If you guys remember Flat Stanley, the kids' book. And definitely how I'm writing them now, they are Flat Stanley. Like all my characters sound the same. They're not developed at all. I think coming up with the wants, the needs are very important for the character, like Cody said. And I think what helps me is, I don't know, I'm an analyzer. So like I go and I'll go watch my favorite TV show, or I will go back to my favorite book. And I just like to take notes, like what makes you like this character? Like anytime you're reading something, you're watching a movie, watching a TV show, what makes you like them? Or if you don't like them, like what makes you not like them? I've definitely read a lot of books where some main characters don't feel as developed for me. And I like to take notes of like, why is that? And trying to fix that. So I think the more you can like spot how developed a character is, like in the media you're consuming, it's going to be easier to write more developed characters.
Yeah. And one thing that I will say, I don't remember, I was watching a vlog. I watch a lot of vlogs because that's how I like unwind. I'll put a vlog on or whatever. But they said something in their vlog. You don't have to know every single thing about your characters in the first draft if you are in the first draft. A lot of those things will come throughout revising and editing, because once you have told yourself the full story and you know the big picture of everything, then that also kind of helps you from a bird's eye view figure out what true role each of these characters are playing. And also it will help you, once you know your full cast, differentiate them and make them sound different, all that fun stuff. So Becca said, any tips for navigating writer's block? How do you handle it? So I personally, if I have writer's block, then I allow myself to have that writer's block, because in the beginning I would beat myself up and be like, I'm going to force it and, make something happen. And whatever that product is that comes out of that, forcing me to sit down and write, usually is not kept when I go back and I read it. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. Delete all that. And so I would say just find something else that is story driven that you like, that can kind of let your brain wander. So for me, that's reality TV. I love watching reality TV. I'll put on like an episode of Vanderpump Rules and I'll just sit there and kind of like what Michaela was talking about, like think about the things that, what do I like about this? What do I not like about this? And then if I'm on like doing a rewatch, I'm on season 8 and I see how far Stassi's come since season 1, then I'm like, oh, look at that character development. It just kind of gets my brain in that character mindset and like thinking about a story. And also sometimes with reality TV, I don't have to pay attention because most of it is just them cussing each other out and throwing drinks on each other. So I can like turn my brain off and just let my mind wander with the story to kind of figure out where I want to go next and to fight writer's block. I hope that helps, Becca. Michaela, what say you?
Yeah, I think the same. Like if I have writer's block, I let it happen. I think for me, I just let myself go about life. Like I think Cody and I before this, we were talking about touching grass. I think touching grass is so important. Especially as writers. And at least when I get into writing block, I just let myself have it. I didn't write for like 2 years, and I think it made me a better writer because I just wasn't so involved in the story. And I think you need to like take a step back sometimes, just like live your life, hang out with your friends, your family, touch grass, be in nature, and
Yeah.
then come back.
And do find media that makes you happy. Read a book, watch a TV show, play a video game. I like all of those things. And so I usually that's where I navigate if I'm just having one of those times. We'll take one or two more questions and then we'll get started with our first sprint. We'll do this one here. Are you a plotter or a pantser? That's an easy question. I am a reformed pantser, now plotter.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. The first step is admitting that you have a problem.
It is. It is.
Michaela, what about you? Well, I
Yeah,
mean, as much planning as you do in your videos, I can only imagine what your answer might be.
no, I'm the same. I used to be a pantser until I constantly was getting stuck. I think like what Giselle's saying right here in the soupy middle. I could never get past the soupy middle. And I realized, wow, I guess I actually have to plan this out. That sucks. So I'm also now more of a plotter.
Yeah. And this will be our last question before we do this. Do you have any advice for, I'm assuming that's supposed to be stitching together the scenes, with the large swaths of unclear scenes in between? Oh, excuse me. So I don't necessarily have advice on how to stitch them together, but I know like for me, I tried to do the whole thing where because the end of the story was the first thing that I knew about this book. But I mentally, because neurodivergent, I'm incapable of bouncing around between chapter 1. Oh, but I know what happens in chapter 8. Let's go to chapter 8. I know what happens in this. I'm very linear. I have to be, otherwise I will get so lost and I'll get frustrated and I won't know what is where, especially if, because as you're drafting, you might find like, oh, this might actually be better in this chapter. And then you have to switch things around. It gets confusing. So I'm a linear writer. Not Becca. What's your name? Michaela. My brain is so just tired. It's been a long day.
Okay.
Michaela, what say you about stitching together some scenes?
Yeah, I think this is how I used to write before, like just in this now zero draft. I've done a chapter by chapter outline, which is very new for me, linearly or writing linearly. I used to write with like beginning, end, and stitching them together. At least for advice, I don't know. I'm always a big just get it out there and then go back. I think if you need to just say like, okay, chapter 17. I have no idea what's going to happen in this chapter, but I know what's going to happen maybe in a couple chapters. You can just put that in your notes document. Like, I have no idea what to put here, but I know they need to get from A to B. Future me will figure out that problem. I, at least, am under sound mind that it's better to just get the whole thing out in front of you, like we've been saying. You can now see the full story as it is, and then go back and have kind of like a better head once you know how the whole story is gonna play out. How can I actually fill in those blanks? I know I'm doing a lot of blanks in my zero drafting right now. There's like big red paragraphs of like, no idea what to do. Future Michaela, fix that when we get there.
And the beautiful thing is that's what editing's all about, is fixing and filling in those gaps that you might not have in your brain whenever you're doing the first draft, zero draft, whatever you call it. I know some people, there's so many names out there for that first draft, but what do you guys say we start our first sprint. I'm getting the clock pulled up for us because I'm ready to do some writing.
Let's do it.
I put us in a nice, cozy cafe.
Cute. I love it.
So, oh, and I guess we're on sprint number 1, not sprint number 2. So let me fix that. All right. Also, Michaela, I like to play rain sounds just as like ambient noise. Is that okay with you?
That sounds lovely.
Okay, beautiful. And if you're in the chat and you do not want rain sounds, please feel free to mute the sound. And because it's, it just, I don't know, having white noise just really helps me because I have a dog that loves squeaky toys. And it's so distracting. Like right now, she's in the living room squeaking. I don't know if you can hear it, but I sure can.
No. That's cute though. I
Oh,
get it.
yeah. We love
Honestly,
her.
I'm even like, I forgot to put my headphones on, so I have to go run and go grab those so I can like fully focus in, you know?
Immerse yourself. All right,
Mhm.
let's see if you can hear that. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Best of luck, everyone. We'll see you in 30 minutes.
Good luck.
All righty, friends. How did we do? I got like 300-ish words. I'm in a scene right now
Nice.
that requires a lot of dialogue. And so I mentioned this in my last stream, but like I'm being very meticulous on how each of them speaks this go round to really differentiate
Mhm.
the voice. And so any of the dialogue heavy sections, they go slower just because I'm trying to be really careful about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dialogue is hard.
Yeah. How'd you do, Michaela?
I kind of agree with Ari. I think I blacked out a little. I got 546 words. I don't even know how that happened. Mostly description, not a lot of dialogue. I think that's why. So,
God, let's see. Okay, I'm just trying to catch up on the chat. Okay, a lot of people love the rain sounds. We love that. Um, why does it sound kind of like chewing?
oh no,
I don't know, because
I'm
I'm
not chewing.
one that gets overstimulated by mouth sounds. Like I can't do ASMR mouth sounds. It just freaks me out. I don't know what it is. So if I'm sorry that it sounded like that to you, that was that's just, ugh, I just get a chill thinking about it. Yeah, there's blacked out. Love that. Finished a chapter. Congratulations. Edited about 200 words. Still not sure about the changes. I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel
I'm
that.
sure it's great.
Yes, Ari, your pace is always so amazing. You're killing the game. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but Ari, I think in your last vlog you said you're trying to get to about 30,000 for this dialogue first draft. I could be wrong. I know you were like over 20,000. I don't know. I've slept since then, and my memory is the worst. Let's see. Sat on my phone for that entire sprint, to be honest. We'll get them in the next one.
We'll get them in the next one. It's
And that's
okay.
that is
It
okay.
happens.
Came in late, only got 100 words, working on my draft 0 as well. Hey, 100 words is better than nothing. So, you're making progress, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Finish the scene right at the bell. Saved by the bell. Niall got 550 words. Slay. That's amazing. Typed pretty fast, and it was mostly dialogue. Teach me how to write dialogue that fast, Niall.
Yeah, that's crazy. I
That's
could not do that for dialogue.
draft 0. Also, okay, so there's not too much pressure on the dialogue to be like perfect, I guess, in
Fair.
the 0 draft. Thank you. I've been slacking this week, to be honest, but yes, Cody, probably around 20K. It's just dialogue first draft, so not very meaty. Hey, you once you're done with this draft, you have what I think is the hardest part out of the way. So good. I can sit and describe all day, but just
Same.
it's so
Same.
like mentally taxing just to get into all these different characters' voices, especially if you're writing multiple characters in one book, which most people do.
Hmm.
It's just hard to put myself into their brain for a minute, especially in moments like this where it's like the conversation's bouncing all over the place and people are interrupting people and it's wild. Is there a book you really look forward to reading, either a new release or just a new book
Hmm.
to you?
That's a
I know
great
that
question.
I am looking very much forward to Onyx Storm in January by Miss
Oh,
Rebecca Yaros. I'm gonna
yeah.
gobble that up. Becca,
Yeah,
do you?
oh, please.
Sorry, I was looking at Becca's name. Your name is Michaela. I need to
I
do.
know.
I'm being a
It's
horrible person.
okay.
So
I
sorry.
know. Becca and I we look very alike and
You're
we
literally
just both have
twins.
great bubbly personalities.
Yes.
And
Okay, Michaela, what's
um, I mean, I agree. I devoured Fourth Wing. Hate to admit it. I have not been that
wait,
obsessed
don't be
with.
afraid to admit it. Say it with your whole chest.
I know. I'll say it with my whole chest. I have not devoured a series like that since like Divergent. Like that's how in it I was for Fourth Wing. So definitely Onyx Storm. Um, I don't know. There's so many really, really good books coming out like in 2024 that I have on like my to read list.
Mhm.
And if I'm being fair, I'm trying to still work through all the books that I own. Horrible. Hard times, I know.
I will
But
never make it through all the books that I own, and I have just accepted that about myself because,
it's rough out here. It's rough.
listen, I'm just doing my best and just spending money that
Mhm.
I don't have in a Barnes and Noble, and it's that's how I treat myself. It's self-care.
Yep. Yep, that's exactly what I do. It's a problem, actually.
Let's see. I did about 800 words, but they are bracket scenes, which is just a general summary of the what the scene should be. That is
That's good.
still progress because now that you have that, you can move on to whatever's next and come back to that bracket later. Just got here after spending a lot of time brainstorming and finally getting a lot of the plot down. Good timing to write a bit. Well, I'm so glad you could be here to get some brainstorming done. Yes, twinsies.
Twinsies.
Oh my gosh, I am the worst human ever.
Oh, you
I
are not.
spent most of my time trying to find a last name for my character because I always find out their full name, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Listen, names are hard. I think you talked about that in the vlog you posted today, Michaela, about
I
finding guy
hate
names or
names.
something.
I hate guy names. Sorry, Cody. I hate them. I
No,
hate
it's
them. I hate
okay.
them. I can never name my characters. I give all my characters placeholders. I really just let my future self, like, honestly worry about all the big issues. I'm just like, right now, we're vibing. Future me can figure this out. It's fine.
Yeah, so the way that I do my at least a zero draft is as far as like names, I'll have an because obviously, we all know people, we've all had good interactions, bad
Mhm.
interactions, and there's people that we think of positively and negatively. So usually what I do in like a zero draft is I think of the vibe of that character
Mm.
and I give them the name of someone that I know so
Love it.
that they can speak like
You're
that
out here
person.
writing a burn book about people, and they don't even know. They don't
Well,
even know.
the character is not based on them at all. The things
I
that they
know.
do in the story, but it's just
That's
their
smart. I
voice.
like that.
I do that to help find their voice.
Yeah, that's good. I should
And then
honestly start doing that as my placeholders because my placeholders make no sense. No
yeah,
sense.
exactly. And treat yourself, buy all the books.
Absolutely.
Ari, that's exactly right. Thank you for supporting my self-destructive behaviors. Glad to have found this. Haven't written in 3 days due to allergies and family issues. Thank you for streaming this. Well, I
Hmm.
hope all is well, but I'm so glad that you're here with us. And I hope that you're feeling better. Allergies are no joke.
Yeah.
I have the worst allergies. Me and Zyrtec, we go way back. I promise. How and when did you decide to write a novel? Are you planning to do a standalone or a series?
Mm,
Also, are you planning on self-publishing or traditionally publishing? Ooh, that's a loaded question. Do you
yeah.
want to start, Michaela, or would you like me to start?
Sure, I can start. With this book specifically, I think I've mentioned this. This story has been in my head for legitimately a decade. Um, And so I've been trying to get out of my head for years and years and years. I don't know when it became a story, honestly. Now it's been with me for so long, I have no idea. I started writing a draft originally like so long ago. Right now, as I just planned this out, because I'm starting from ground zero, from scratch, I'm planning on doing a duology because it's a fantasy book. So you can't ever have a standalone fantasy book.
It does
What's
not
up with
exist.
that? It just does not exist. I don't want it. I never want it. So probably a duology. And I think I actually was talking to you, Cody, about this the other day of planning on self-publishing or traditionally publishing.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I need to see this story at the end and see if it has legs. I don't even know if this is the story that I necessarily would want to publish or query. So I don't know, but I would be open to both avenues.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of videos on the YouTubes of the pros and cons of both sides. One of my favorite people to
Mm-hmm.
follow, her name's Jenna Moresi,
Mm-hmm.
and she is a fantasy author. She also has written like writing craft book. It's called Shut Up and Write the Book. And she is self-publishing, but actually she recently just got a book deal for an
Mm.
unannounced story. So she's kind of like a hybrid situation, but she very in-depth covers both sides, and I find it to be very helpful. But as for me, oh gosh, I'm like Michaela. here with that. This story has kind of lived in my head for a very long time. At least, oh gosh, I think I was still in high school when I
Mhm.
thought of this, and my 10-year reunion was last year. So,
Oh, same.
yeah,
Isn't that horrible?
it's kind of disgusting. Yeah,
It was awful.
yeah. I was at rehearsal last night talking about my 10-year reunion was yesterday, and they were like, "Wait, how old are you?" And I was like, "Don't say it like that."
Yeah, don't say it with disgust.
Right? Like
Gosh, we're still young out here.
we are. I mean, look at this. Look at the glow. Look at
Yeah,
the
glowing, cute
yeah.
faces.
But this story has lived in my head for forever, but I tried to actually first time I started to actually fully write it was COVID because I had nothing else to do but sit in the house and try to write a book. And so I tried that. I was a pantser, failed miserably. I started over a couple of times in like maybe 21, 22, 2021, 2022, more failed attempts. And so I let myself off the hook, didn't think about it for a year, kind of like what Michaela was
Mm.
saying about how she gave herself that 2-year break and then she came back and it was just like, oh, I got it. Like it's there.
Mhm.
And so a year later, this year, well, really, it was the very end of 2023 when I kind of started rethinking and actually making my outline and all that good stuff. And then I was like, well, you know what? I want to stick to this and actually finish it. So let me also start a YouTube channel and take more time away from writing this book. But also, I did it to have accountability people and people that are, commenting on the videos and checking in. So it's worked out pretty well because I did finish the first draft at least. And as of right now, I am planning on self-publishing. It is this particular story is a standalone. I have two other standalones that are also mystery thrillers, kind of like in my shiny new idea folder. And then I also have an idea for at least a trilogy fantasy novel. So those are kind of
Uh,
just in the abyss that is Google Docs.
oh,
And they're
yeah.
just waiting for me to finish this book so I can entertain one of them. But is that all the questions? Standalone yet? Okay, that's all those questions answered. Uh, oh, that's the same thing. That is brilliant about naming the character after a person so you can pull that in. Listen, just write your own burn book and then change the names later. And
Yes.
it's
It's
basically,
genius.
yeah, an unauthorized biography. My stories are seasonally so. Whenever I find my ideas, whenever my interest falls, I'm done with it. Then I come back when I'm back into the interest. I feel that because it was that year
Yeah.
break where I was like, I'm not interested in doing this anymore. And then after a year, it just came back out of nowhere. Do you wait until you are fully done editing your novel before starting another? For example, while waiting for beta arc readers to finish, do you start your next book? So this book that I'm currently writing is actually my very first book to ever be seeing all the way to the end. But my goal is to have this redraft done because I've already been talking to an editor, and my goal is to submit it to her by mid to late August. And while she has this book, I will be going ahead and doing a like extensive outline of one of those stories that I have in my shiny idea folder. But I feel like for me personally, I can't really fully commit to starting something unless like I have like a break from
Mm.
this book. Like if I'm giving it to an editor or it's done, I can't be working on two books simultaneously because it's hard enough to keep this one all up in here, much less two of them. Michaela, what say you?
Yeah, I've written a couple manuscripts before, and since I love breaks in between, as soon as I'm done with a first draft of something, I'm ready to start on the next thing. I think I need the break. Kind of like, I mean, even when I'm reading, like I love reading series, but I honestly have to have like palate cleansers or breaks in between. Like I will get burnt out even of a series and I'll never finish the series ever again if I don't give myself a break. So same thing with writing. Once I'm done with this first draft, I will probably plan one of the like 1 million ideas I have. Also sitting in my Google Docs waiting to be plucked out from oblivion.
Yes.
Probably plan, not write, probably just like outline, plan a little bit and then go into editing. Yeah.
Yeah, very similar that way. Characters in my book are in college, so they get 4 books. Love that.
Cute.
One for
Love
each
that.
year. Hello, Jasmine. So glad you could make it. Happy to have you here. 2 books are way too much. Yes. At the same time, yeah, there's no way. There is no way my brain could. But really quick, I'm going to ask Michaela a question because you just mentioned it. So, touching on what you just said, I feel you on like the palate cleanser, because sometimes after I've spent a large chunk of time in this book, obviously it's a mystery thriller, and so I have definitely found myself craving to dive into like a fantasy story, just to kind of like cleanse the palate and not be in like a mystery thriller world. I want to go to a world that doesn't exist and it's magical and there's dragons that are sassy and all kinds of fun stuff. So name a series that you have started but did not finish because you got burnt out on it.
Oh my gosh, I have my Goodreads up in a tab of 1,000 tabs, and I actually made a list called series I'm reading so I can remind myself what the heck I'm reading.
Wow, it's
And
almost like you knew I was going to ask you this question.
It's almost like I knew. There's so many. Right now I'm in the middle of Brandon Sanderson's Skyward series. Sci-fi, YA. So I read the first 2. There's 2 more. But then I found out there were 3 novellas in between, and I just said absolutely not, and I needed to get out of there for a little bit. So that was a no. And then also, I guess another like big one that people know is A Darker Shade of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. I like it, and I love V.E. Schwab, but like for some reason,
I never made it past the first book.
I can't. I've reread the first book twice now, trying to get to the other ones, and I just can't do it. I honestly might not finish it, but I unfortunately own the next one. So
yeah, I own the entire series, and I have still only read the first book. And the longer I wait, the more I'm like, the longer I like wait to start the second book. It's now been over a year since I've read the first book. I don't remember. Yeah. I mean, I kind of remember very vague small things, but large plot things, I don't remember. I think one for me that I started that I actually do want to do a reread and finish the series because I do own the whole series is the Scythe series.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just think the idea is really cool. And I remember really enjoying the first book, and I started the second one, but I was knee deep in a master's degree and fell off that reading train, and then same thing happened with Darker Shade of Magic. Just forgot what happened, and but that would be my 2 is Darker Shade of Magic because I do own that, and then Scythe. Same way, Mick. Need a palate cleanser between finishing drafts.
Yes, you get it.
All right. Hold on, really quick before I got to just acknowledge this.
Yeah, I love it. I was thinking the same thing. I am Knuff. We love it.
Well, the thing was, I wore this for my motivational little video that I recorded that now did not save on my camera, so I have to re-record it.
No.
I know, because it was supposed to be, like nice and uplifting and writer advice, and I was already dealing with like mental fog and fatigue from writing, and so that just did not help the situation, but it's fine because we persevere, we move on, and we're going to make it happen.
Persevere.
All right, we'll do this last question, and then we'll do another sprint. Cool. How far do you go into planning your characters? When do you know to stop planning them and to start writing them? Michaela, would you like to start, or would you like me to start?
I can start. I feel like that's been like the theme of this live tonight. Is like, when do we start writing and stop planning? I think since I used to be a pantser, actually, I used to do way more like research and planning of characters. I would never outline, but I would spend so long planning out my characters, and so long, like whatever research actually means, because I don't know what past Michaela even did for research, but I would call it research. And I think what helped me this draft was I really quickly took an hour and a half, legit that fast, to just plan out my characters, and I am just throwing them in the ring. I think it's helping me way more. I'm just putting them in scenes And as I write it and it feels off, I just like make notes. Like I'll comment on the page and just be like, that felt weird.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think actually he would do that. So maybe we'll change that later on. Like, think about that. And I think it's just way better, or it helps me more to just like understand who my characters are when I put them in scenes, which is why I like to write them like going to Disney World or doing a coffee shop. I think that's great planning, but I'd rather write them. It's now the only way I think I can plan them fully.
I agree. Usually for me, what I do is, like I mentioned towards the beginning of the stream, is I figure like I'm not the kind of person that goes into like, like those character worksheets that says,
Mhm.
what is their favorite color? What is their favorite
I hate
food?
those.
Like that is not the kind of stuff that I'm doing. I'm thinking about their
Mhm.
motivation. I want to know how they like who they are when at the beginning of the story and what has changed about them by the end of the story. And so once I know their goals and motivations, I know their sort of arc of the story, and I kind of have a good idea of their voice. Usually, like Michaela said, I just go ahead and start that draft, and the characters usually kind of tell me as I write them what
Mhm.
they would do in certain situations because you can't possibly sit and think how your character would react in every single possible situation. And especially if you have a multi cast of characters doing that, you would be planning forever and ever and ever, amen. And you would never actually get to the writing. So I feel like once you kind of know those three main pillars to your character, you'll kind of
Mhm.
discover the rest of the things about them as you write that first draft.
Yeah.
Everyone is just commenting on my lovely fashion choices. Hi, Glow Llama. Welcome to the stream. You're just in time because we are about to start our next sprint. Bow, 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 bow.
Great.
Alrighty, so we're gonna get this started. 30 minutes are on the clock. Best of luck to all of you. Oh wait, really quick, let me go ahead and get my rain sounds that don't sound like chewing sounds. And here we go. All righty, friends. How did we do? I got another maybe 250 words. The first little bit of that was spent. Also, while I'm talking, I'm turning the sounds off. I forget how to use technology sometimes, but I got 250. The first little bit of that was spent taking my sweet, beautiful puppy out to the bathroom because she was whining at me. I really need to do better. There we go. Okay, everything's great. Michaela, how did you do?
I did way less this round. I did 329 though, so not
Okay.
too bad. And I was eating my dinner as well. So
That is
we're
important.
talking
You
up to
gotta,
that.
have sustenance to stay alive.
Very true. Very true. I've heard that before.
Yes, yes. Let's see. Let me catch up on the chat. Hello. Happy to have you here. Is that Taylor Swift in your picture? I love me some Taylor Swift.
Me too. I love Taylor.
I couldn't agree more. That was one of the fastest 30 minutes of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I was like just getting started, and then I like was going, and then I looked down and it said 5 minutes left, and I was like, what? 603 new words, currently doing my first draft, so I'm happy. And you know what?
That's
I'm
great.
also happy for you because that is a slay. 600 words in 30 minutes is wild. Rework the same few sentences like 500 times. LOL, send help.
That.
Thoughts and prayers, Brielle. Thoughts and prayers. Because I get it. I've been there.
Yeah.
Between the two sprints, I have 750 words, trying to corral my characters to follow my plot. Feels a lot like herding kittens sometimes. I get that. I saw someone, I think it was Alyssa in the books, posted a vlog that was like, sometimes I read through my first draft and I'm like, who wrote this? Because I didn't write this. She talks about like sometimes her characters just like possess her and she just writes words and just forgets that she wrote them. And I'm like, felt that because it's real. You got to get in the heads of your characters. Glow Llama got 147. Very nice. These sprints always go so fast. I got 200 words, but they're like a good 200 words. Like, I know I'm going to keep these.
I love that confidence.
Yes. And that's always just a good feeling knowing that the work that you just did isn't for nothing. It's going to be used eventually in the future, if not now. I'm sure those sentences slay, though. Yes. Have you used any writing advice from Abby Emmons? Yes, we have. We were actually just talking about her before the stream. I was writing video scripts. Ooh, that's exciting. Fun. Do you write scripts, Michaela, for your thing, or do you just kind of like know a gist of what you're going to talk about, especially in those like longer ones where you're doing a lot of like teaching? Do you write scripts for those?
No, and I should, honestly, because editing them is horrible because I'm a ranter. So I will like go off on a little tangent. So I should start doing that, but no, I do not. No, I do not.
Yeah, I also, I kind of like, for me, because I use GoodNotes, I have like in my iPad, I just write like points that I want to do, especially if I'm doing like a video that revolves around a list. I'll do something like that, but most of the time it's just me vibing with the camera.
Pretty much, yeah.
And rambling about God knows what. I think there was one time I had like 50 minutes worth of just clips that I ended up editing down to like 20 minutes. And I was like, God, crazy. Cut out so much rambling.
Yeah.
Wrote 467. Very nice. I did quite a lot. Dang, almost 2,000 words. Only one actual scene and 2 bracket scenes, but I feel a lot more freedom letting myself just do the brackets. Yeah. And that's what you got to do. Because if it's just not coming to you in a manuscript format, then you can just, I mean, you're the only one that's seeing it at this point. So you can literally put whatever you want in that Word document and no one is going to know. How are they going to know?
How are they going to know?
450 words, Niall. Very nice. I think a little under 400 this round. And hell yeah, such amazing progress, everyone.
Yeah, really. Everyone's doing great.
Yeah, y'all are eating up this stream. I got stuck in the middle. Happens. Started scripting my sit-down videos, and it makes a huge difference. I feel like I cover everything I want to.
Yeah.
Yes. Haven't done a sit-down video in a while. And that's hey, listen, the best part about a writing vlog is you don't got to script it. It's just
Mm-hmm.
they get the real, raw day in the life, week in the life, whatever it is you're doing. I'm too awkward with the camera. Please, how do y'all do it? Oh man.
I
Well,
hate it.
yeah, we are also
I just pretend
awkward.
like it's not happening.
Yeah, I don't know, because especially when like my favorite time to record is when like no one's home.
Mm-hmm.
Even my fiance, like I don't want him to hear me in my room talking to no one because it's just awkward and it feels weird. But the more you do it,
Mm-hmm.
the more it just feels comfortable and natural. I don't think it ever feels natural, but also again, that's why video editing is very important because you can just cut out
Mm-hmm.
weird, awkward hiccups and weird things that you say that you're like, I don't know if that should go on Beyonce's internet. Maybe I should delete that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I have the problem where I just blank out over what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I have to edit like
I
10
do that.
silence.
I definitely do that.
Yes,
Definitely do
that's
that.
why I have my emotional support headphones at all times,
Yes.
because if there is a noise
Same.
or I don't know what it is, but and it could just be my ADHD, but I'm very aware of any like high pitched noise or hum that's happening.
I think it
And
is the ADHD.
maybe like, does it give us superhuman ability to hear things that normal people don't? Like, am I a dog
I think
and I can
so.
just hear these really high pitched things?
Mm-hmm.
But when I have these on, it just blocks everything out, especially because I always have some sort of ambient noise to block everything out. How do you incorporate the theme into your story? That is a good question, Miss Blogger.
It
So,
is.
I mean, I feel like, especially for me, especially when I was writing my first draft, I kind of had an idea of a couple themes that I wanted to include. But it really wasn't until I was able to finish that first draft and step back and again have that like bird's eye view, big picture moment to where I could really be like, okay, I see that you're kind of dipping your toe into this theme and that. And so basically, whenever I do my first read through, when I did my first read through of my first draft, I highlighted all the moments where I was weaving in whatever themes I thought of. And I, in this draft, was able to better plan how to weave those in. And really, it'll, once you know what it is and you sit down and you get to
Mm-hmm.
editing, you'll know how to weave it in to best fit whatever story you're trying to tell. Um, Michaela, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think theme is so important. I personally cannot write a book if I don't know a theme, at least of what I'm trying to get across. Um, I think in like the first draft, I usually tried to incorporate the theme in a character, like in a character's emotional journey is how I usually get a theme across.
Mhm.
And then as Cody was saying, like I think other themes, it's just the theme of today, just happen as you write as well. Like as I'm writing this draft lately, I've seen the theme kind of pop up with my magic system, which I did not think that's where a theme would pop up. So I don't know. I always start with one theme that I know I want in the book. I try to attach it to a character and like their emotional journey. What's the story that they are learning or fail at learning that the readers should also be learning as they go along, and then others just seem to pop up.
Yeah, because I mean, themes are just really us having something to say about real life.
Hmm.
And so naturally, as you're writing your story, because you are a human that has, is living a life, you will naturally kind of weave things in there without even realize you're doing it. And so
Right.
really, once you can sit and get that big picture, you can really see all of the themes you've incorporated or touched on and hone in on just like, a few that you really want to be like the main themes of your story and just weave those in as you go in through the editing process. I'm so awkward on camera. We all are. I
We all
so
are.
promise. It is not whether, because I have no experience in filming, editing, things like that. And so really it's all vibes. There's no thoughts up here, it's just vibes. And then I just edit it to make sense because most of the time it's me rambling. Same. I'd love to start posting writing videos, but listen, the first video is always going to be your worst video, and you're only going to get better from there.
Mm-hmm.
So my advice is to just do it. And because something that I've been kind of like reflecting on, right, is because sometimes I'll make a video that I'm like, oh man, I'm really like proud of that video. And then it doesn't like really do that well as far as like the algorithm
Mm-hmm.
goes. And it kind of, it'll kind of bum you out a little bit, but you know that no matter what, the next video you post, you're going to have more skills and you're going to be a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more natural on the camera, and it'll just work better. I find that I'm more natural in a live setting. Obviously, there's no editing here. We are live talking to you, beautiful people from wherever you are watching us from. And I find it I'm better at just having a natural conversation than I am being scripted, which is weird
Mm-hmm.
because I'm also an actor. But those words are written for me. I don't have to
Yeah.
do anything. I just have to say whatever's, on the page. My husband tries to be supportive and watch my videos on the TV in the living room, and the sound of my voice makes me screech and run away. Clark does the same thing. Like I'll come home and he'll be like watching one of my videos that I posted like that day, and I just straight to the bedroom. I'm like, you let me know when you're done because I will not be participating in this right now.
Yeah, I hate the sound of my own voice, which is crazy because that's all I do when I edit is listen to myself talk.
Yeah.
That's horrible. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you just kind of have to learn to love looking at yourself a lot because you will be
Yeah,
doing a lot of it if you decide to post videos.
it's unfortunate.
I just sat and drank boba while I wrote to block everything out. And that's how you
Yeah.
do it. Are you okay? Michaela, are you a popping boba or a tapioca boba or neither? Which do you prefer?
Tapioca boba.
See, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's the texture. I don't like the tapioca boba because it's just too
I
chewy
see. Yeah, I
for me.
can see why people don't, and I rarely get boba, but I will say, Brielle's still in the chat. Every time I watch a video of Brielle,
Oh my
she
gosh.
has a boba tea, and every time I'm like, God damn it, now I have to open a boba tea.
Yes, every time I
So,
watch Brielle's videos, I really
yeah,
want strawberry milk because that strawberry milk he
yes,
makes looks so good.
so good. But I do love tapioca. Really great.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm a popping boba kind of person. That's
I
just
get that. Those are good too.
it's because it's basically like adult gushers, but like in
Yeah.
a fun drink, and I love
Hmm.
it. I don't know. My books always have too many themes, so I have to choose which are primary and which are secondary, so I don't talk everything surface level and can get in depth with the plot, character relevant themes. Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
important to decide which ones you want to really hone in on, but also it's important to make sure that you're not just like hitting the reader over the head with it and
Yes.
you're like weaving it naturally throughout the story because you don't want to be like, the theme is greed and I'm telling you this story about greed and you should not be greedy. If you read this story and you are greedy, this will happen, stuff like that. You don't want to ever hit someone over the head with it. Just weave it in
Yeah.
naturally. Give it a little, just sprinkle it on there.
I think that's why, like, for me at least, weaving it into characters helps me weave it in naturally because it's your character, like, kind
Hmm.
of figuring this out and it's their thoughts and their experience instead of like the narrator or someone else being like, wow, greed is bad. Like,
Yeah.
like your character is living through, it's kind of like showing, not telling the
Yeah.
theme as well. Like your character is living through an experience where they see firsthand how greed can affect their life. That's
Yes.
really, I think, like an effective way to do the theme.
Agreed. Hi, Alyssa. Welcome. So happy to have you here. Also, Alyssa, when you were on the stream on Tuesday, you made me I don't even know what came over me. There's nothing I wanted more in the world than a crispy McDonald's Diet Coke, and I blame you for that because you were on your way to McDonald's. We love vibes. Yes, we do,
We
because
do.
that's how I function. That is my fuel, is just vibes. Put a lot of hours into posting on TikTok. It's sad when they don't do well, so I worry starting from scratch on YouTube. You can't let the performance of your content affect the heart
Yeah.
of what you really want. Because if you really want to make videos and to share your experience with the world, you can't rely on the views and the whatevers to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You should be doing it for, you can have that as a secondary goal to like have high views and all that stuff, but I would make sure that your primary goal is more like, I'm really passionate about this topic, and so that's why I'm making content about it, because you know, that's just, you can't rely on the views, because the algorithm is wild and does what it wants to.
It's wild.
Because like I have one video on my channel that literally has like less than 50 views, and then there was another random one that I did that has over 3,000. And so you just
Mm-hmm.
never know which video
You
you
never
post is
know.
going to be the one that just shoots up into the stratosphere and makes things happen. You just got to keep doing it, and the more you do it, the better you'll have at it. Using these sprints or however much is left on the stream to actually respond to Instagram DMs hides in shame. Am I one of those
I feel
Instagram
that.
DMs you need to respond to, Alyssa? Oh, my fiance does the same thing. Cringe every time, I promise. Working on my first novel. It's contemporary fantasy. I use Scrivener. And do you know where to get a good world builder template? I do not know, because my worlds in my books are based in the real world, so I don't really have to do a lot of world building. But I feel like, have you used any resources, Michaela, to like help build your world, or like make a map of the continent or whatever that you're working in or writing in?
Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head. I don't know. I think I used to use templates a lot, and lately I've found that they don't really work for me. So I don't think I've like gone searching for a good template in quite a few years, just because I feel like my brain, for some reason, rejects the template life. I don't know why. I wish it didn't. I really wish it didn't, but I guess I would just rather suffer through the only my own crazy ups and downs of my brain.
Well, that is good stuff. Sorry, it was Alyssa that was DMing me back, so I just checked my DMs. Have my matcha latte. I'm locked in, besties. Okay, I
Love
need
it.
matcha recommendations, because I have never been able to drink a matcha latte that didn't taste like grass.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of the base flavor of matcha,
Oh,
unfortunately.
well, then
It's
I
like
guess,
grass.
or like, what do you add to it to
Yeah.
make it taste less like I'm
I mean, some
eating?
people do like simple syrup, but I do just like honey. And yeah, that works for me. But I do feel like it does kind of just like,
Just
I
tastes
mean,
like
it tastes
grass.
like grass, but like I love it. But
Yeah,
it does. It does taste like grass. Yeah.
I've just
It's
never been able to
earthy,
get into it.
actually.
Yeah,
Sorry,
earthy
Brielle. There's
too.
no matcha slander. It's earthy.
Yeah,
Cody?
I'm so sorry. And if you like matcha, that is so okay. I don't discriminate against
I
different
love
tea
matcha.
lovers. You like what you like, and that's okay, bestie. Oddly enough, I find posting on YouTube is so much easier than TikTok. It's been
Yeah,
infinitely better for building community too. I agree
I
100%, because
agree.
especially when I was first starting on YouTube, my favorite thing to do was to comment on people's videos and like join the conversation or comment on other people's comments. Like Michaela, you were talking about it in your video that you posted today about how you love just seeing like people come together in the comment section and really like kind of build, like, cheer each other on. And it's like a little community in your comment section. Nothing makes me happier than seeing people commenting on my video and then interacting.
Hmm.
Like even on this stream, you've all been like hyping each other up, and that is like my favorite
I
thing in the world.
know.
Love that so much. Yes, YouTube for joy and accountability always. Yes, this channel is the sole creditor to me finishing the first draft of this book. And so to all of the people that have subscribed to me and commented and liked along the way, you're the one that held me accountable and helped me finish my book. Check your DMs. I did. Question for you both. When did you realize that it's time to write that debut novel? What keeps you motivated to keep going? Do you want to start, or would you like me to start? Because I kind of have an answer.
Sure. Yeah, I think I talked about it in the video I dropped today of my little writing update is I think it was in the last 6 to 8 months where I was just going about my regular life, my 9 to 5, overworking, and it just, I don't know, there was just a day where I was so stressed out and I was crying about work, and I was like, what am I doing? Didn't we always want to be a writer? Wasn't that what like 5-year-old Michaela always said she wanted to do? And middle school Michaela and high school Michaela and the girl who studied it in college. Like, I don't know. I think I just kind of woke up from like my adult stress slumber, I feel like, and realized if I keep doing this and I actually don't keep writing, then you don't ever publish a book. I don't know why. It just like clicked all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Um, and then I just had to take drastic measures to make sure I get it done.
I'm so glad you said that because I definitely feel like there was a moment, and it might have been, I guess, my mid to late. I mean, I'm in my late 20s now, but I mean, in this era of my mid to late 20s, I feel like the
Mhm.
closer I get, like once I got closer to 30, I just had a realization that I can literally do whatever I want.
Literally.
Like if I wanted to, because I've been wanting to write a book forever, and
Mhm.
there was one day, like what Michaela said, like I just woke up and I was like, so just do it.
Mhm.
And I've always wanted to have like a YouTube channel, and I've been on YouTube like for I think since like 2012. I don't know, forever, but like it's just I guess you reach that point where you're like, there's all these things that I want to do, so just do them.
Just do
But
it. Yeah.
also, a lot of my inspiration came from watching. Um, there's a girl on YouTube. Her name is you probably all know her. Poland Banana Books.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah. An
super,
OG.
yeah, an OG
Mhm.
YouTube legend. And
Mhm.
she, whenever she published her first book, she made like a playlist of like from conception of the idea, every step along the way. I think it was probably like 4 hours worth of content of her going from beginning all the way to it being a published book in various vlogs that were lined up in a playlist. And she did another one for her second book, and I watched all the way through, and I was like, you know what? Because I was just watching all of the highs and lows of her
Mhm.
journey, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. And
Yeah.
so here we are. We started a YouTube channel to document this moment where I decided to take my life into my own hands and follow my dream of being a published author. You know, tutorials and write notes on one question they ask and the ideas they give, some free ones. I feel like coming up with a list of questions for yourself about your world that are actually
Mhm.
relevant to your story works instead of a template.
Yeah.
Also good,
Agreed.
especially if you are doing fantasy. You need to know how the government works. You need to know a little bit of the history of that place, how the magic system works. There's definitely a lot more world building involved with fantasy because you're literally creating your own world. And if you think about our world, there's so many things that have a play in how things go in life. And you have to make all of that up for a whole different world. Not the matcha slander.
I do love matcha, I swear.
I promise I was not slandering matcha. I was just sharing my experience. Um, what social media do you use? I don't. I'm so bad about keeping up with social media. I have a Twitter, Cody the Writer. I have an Instagram, Cody the Writer. I have a Facebook page, Cody the Writer. Do I update them often? No. I update them whenever I randomly remember, oh, yeah, you have that account. You should probably post something.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about that before. I'm just catching up on this. Matcha, really good. Oh, matcha and maple syrup. Okay,
That
I do
sounds
like me
good.
some maple syrup. Maybe the oat milk. Oat milk saves all. I do love me
It really
a
does.
good oat milk and almond
Mhm.
milk, cashew milk.
Mhm.
Because I don't know what it is, but as I have approached 30, me and dairy don't get along as much as we used to. So, you know, oh, that's you. I don't know why.
That was me.
Short film. My gosh, y'all are killing it in this chat. Ooh, TikTok gets dramatic quickly, and for
It
what?
really does. People are so rude.
Apparently, there's like a whole new tea about Brittany Broski, and I have no idea what's going on. Apparently, people are mad at her for something, but I love Brittany Broski. I don't know. I don't know the whole story, so I'm not sharing
Oh
anything.
man.
Never tried boba. By the way, Nick. Aw, love you and your
Thanks.
content.
That's so nice.
500 words from 20,000. That's so exciting, Olivia.
Ooh.
Can I believe I've written
It's
this
really
much? I only have
exciting.
a few of my main plot points written out. That's a slay. 2 cups of oat milk today. There's always tea. And you know what? I
That's
love
true.
tea as long as I'm not a part of it. Like, I want to know it, but
Yes.
I don't want to be
I want to stay
involved.
out of it,
Yes.
but I want to hear
Murder
it
book
all.
talk. Oh, I know. I follow a good few of the drama bloggers on YouTube, like with Cindy. Love her.
Love
She is
her.
so sassy and my favorite. I know, not the Brittany Borowski. Um, TikTok always has drama. Yeah, everyone's just talking about the drama. Accidentally commented from the wrong account. I'm also the other Alyssa. It happens. Alrighty, friends. Well, it has now been a wonderful 2 hours and 10 minutes. So we are actually going to wrap up here. We spent a lot of time yapping and answering questions, but that was a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed having all of you here. Thank you all so much for being here. Michaela, would you like to tell the kids where they can find you if they don't know
Yes.
already?
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Cody, for having me. You can find me at Mick Writes on YouTube. And I think my Instagram is Mick is Writing. I don't really post on there, but feel free to DM me if you want to chat about writing. Excited to chat with you all. It was very, very fun. Can't wait to do it again.
Right. I just saw this. Glad you've come across your stream. How often do you do these? I am actually doing a stream every single Friday this month. So I've already done 2. This is week number 3. I have one more posted on my channel, and you never know, you might see some familiar faces that have been both on screen and in the chat next week on our final woohoo, we survived July writing stream. So please go ahead and be there. It'll be posted on my channel. Just click the notify button so you know when we go live. And we're going to have a party, and it's going to be a great time. We're going to get a lot of work done. But again, thank you all so much for being here. For people that are on Michaela's channel, if you want to find me, I am CodyTheWriter on YouTube's, so you can find me there. And I'm also CodyTheWriter on, I have a Facebook page, Instagram, and what was the third thing I said? Twitter. But I
Okay.
think on Twitter, I'm
Mhm.
like Cody is writing or something like that. I don't know. But I don't ever post on Twitter, so don't follow me there. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening and happy writing.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.